Hello guys and welcome back. Today I'm breaking down Borderlands concept art, technically. So the character's name is Norma, and while she is made by someone who doesn't work for Gearbox and technically not employed there, so it's technically fan art. I hate to say that because this art is so good and some of the best I've seen and very professional, and the quality is Gearbox level. So the portfolio includes custom skags, unique weapons, cosmetic choices, and so much more. So while we wait for Borderlands 3, let's break down this character that's honestly good enough to be in the game. So the artist behind this is Helen Odell. She's a 2D concept artist specializing in character and creature art. She also has a background in illustration. She's active on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and ArtStation, links to all of which will be in the description below. And Norma is the name of the character, as I said before, and she was created to be a boss in the Borderlands universe. So with that in mind, let's jump right into it. So our first information about Norma comes with the release of environments. We first see a winding road leading to an abandoned mine. The area looks desert and there are keep out signs everywhere, which is a standard in the Borderlands universe. So it's already setting a good tone. We can see mountains in the background, and then the picture was updated to include a racer approaching, presumably with either bandits or vault hunters, and also there are now rakk flying above the mountain itself. The more detail we can see, there are paths that circle around the mountain itself or in different caves and caverns. So I assume that the Vault Hunter would go in and outside to work up each level and eventually get to the peak and fight the boss herself. Next, we are shown prints for the interior of the arena. I assume once the Vault Hunters exit their vehicles, they start to explore the inside. There's a large bandit settlement, along with varying heights and models where different bandits could be and players could climb up and get some advantage in hidden chests. And the area is also very wide open, and there's a foreman's watchtower in the middle with a lot of surrounding buildings. There's also purple coloring added in later designs to signify iridium, probably. There's also an elevator that leads to the middle office, or foreman watchtower, where the Vault Hunters would have to fight through all the bandits to get to. Then inside there's an office, along with lockers, a chest, and a control panel. We are then shown a close-up of the computer, so probably the player would have to unlock some sort of door or gate using this computer to progress further into the area itself. Next, we are shown the boss room, or inner sanctum. After we fight our way through all the bandits, we reach the peak at the top of the mountain. We can see the top is hollow, which allows light inside, and the concepts vary, but they're consistent with a single podium in the middle, along with varying amounts of iridium like pools and crystals. And this area would also be where we'd fight Norma herself. There are cages, and there are also prisoners hanging by their feet over vats of iridium. So maybe the Vault Hunters are trying to save someone who was taken prisoner. And also in other designs we can see cells near the boss herself, which implies that cells and prisoners is important, because usually we don't see that with bandits. Then we are shown the bosses, pet skags, Bud and Lou, similar to the pet skags of Nine Toes in Borderlands 1, except Lou is larger than humans, he's heavily armored and has purple eyes, and his mouth interior is also purple. Probably having to do with his Siren Master or always being surrounded by iridium. There's also an earlier design where he was a green color with a lighter purple armor. Obviously this was swapped to the more traditional skag route. Then next we see Bud. He's a lot smaller than Lou. He's still armored but has the bright beady eyes, and his mouth and eyes are a darker shade of purple. He's only waist level to a human, and I think it's safe to assume that Bud was going to be a spitter skag that potentially poisoned the Vault Hunters while Lou attacked them and blocked the attacks with his just sheer size and strength. Then we're actually giving like almost a police lineup of the different size scales, comparing the two skags, Norma, to all, well not all, but most of the Vault Hunters from Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2, which shows that Bud might be significantly smaller than Lou, but they're both still decent size respectively compared to humans. The very early concepts of Lou vary greatly. Some show him armored with Psycho Mask, another shows him more with a crystal-like type armor, and one even shows him with like a leather type cover. Bud, on the other hand, did not vary as much. Some of his designs show him as being more reptilian, and a long, high back scale, along with less armor, and one design even shows him with a collar like a dog, so you just really never know. Now let's go over her different weapons. The early designs show a mixture of whips and in some cases canes. They vary on the amount of bandit elements. Some have bones, while others are actually really nice animal head handles that don't look like bone, like they look metal or some sort of nicer material. Once the whips themselves were narrowed down and colored, we see a lot of it focuses on the bandit type weapon. One of the whips really matches a bandit type style. It breaks off into 3 tails, each of which have an animal tooth attached, while another whip we see has skag armor almost taped to it. So both look really rustic, not commercially made, like they just had to put it together. Then we are given some action shots of Norma. She's a siren and she has tattoos and all. She channels her power through a whip. She can stun enemies and even infect her weapons with her siren abilities. She uses her whip in one hand while channeling her powers in the other. It's not directly stated what her siren abilities are, but we see her use them in a wide range of purposes, probably just because they are concepts. She can create a large crusader type shield, and we even see her almost pull iridium out of the ground to make the shield, which is probably why the cave has iridium pools and crystals everywhere, so she can use it to fight people. She can also use a phase lock type ability to hold up a small bandit, and we see her influencing her skags, which explains why they have the purple eyes and they do whatever she wants. We see the skags are being sent to fight, along with notes that the larger skag, Lou, has movement compared to that of an elephant, so he's really slow but probably really beefy and has a lot of health. Some of the battle mechanics were shown as well, that she would cover herself in an orb shield almost. The Vault Hunters would then have to shoot at it, causing it to explode for a few seconds during the vulnerability. The player then would think that she's dead, but plot twist, her siren wings appear and she's almost reborn, like given another life. After that, we're shown Lou again, but this time it looks like his size has increased. Maybe it was decided that he should be larger and that he's elephant-like because of his size and movement. So, almost along the lines of Skagzilla in Borderlands 1 or Dukino's mom in Borderlands 2. Then we're shown beautifully colored pictures of all these different moves, along with an animation over the shield mechanic. All the different stylistic choices were also shown regarding the character cosmetics. She went from being a witch-like character to really creating her own space in the Borderlands universe. In this same collection, a compilation is shown of all the different altering design choices, until she finally narrowed it down on 2, one having short orange hair, which is less designed, then moving over to a long purple hair with heavily detailed armor. So now let's talk about the heads. We're giving a close-up of her faces, with the main focus being on the lips and eyes and all the emotion you can show through that. Next, we see a horde of different bandit mask variations. Some were ruled out due to being like a luchador. Some are referred to the character Scorpion, while they all maintain the great bandit elements though. Once the final design was settled on, with one eye of the bandit mask missing with the purple V, the hair variants were shown. And I'm not talking about just changing the color or palette of the hair. All these hair colors were each given a different style. That all would have worked in my opinion and look amazing. From white to pink, aqua, purple, brown, every color in the rainbow and so much more. So I'll leave that up for a second just so we can all take it in. Another thing to note is that at one point she was going to be given a bow with the right gloves for a bow and all. And once again, I just have to mention the attention to detail in this piece is awesome. Then finally, echo portraits are shown, as well pointing to the fact that she is Hyperion or ex-Hyperion. There are 3 different hair variants for this as well, orange, blonde, and brunette. The blonde one is eventually settled on, and then it all comes together in the final character splash screen where it says, quote, from HR, implying that she was in the Human Resources Department of Hyperion. So that's all the art, but now what are my thoughts? Well, first, this makes me excited. Even though this is fan-made, I think Gearbox would be stupid not to jump on this opportunity. I know they have a lot of great artists there, but just bringing an outside mind in would be great. This character is amazing, but already has me thinking about so many different things. And actually my least favorite part is just that she's a boss. I would love to see her playable, or even just as a character that wouldn't die off in the story somewhere. Also, the idea of her being a siren would be hard to pull off. Gearbox already has 3 existing sirens alive in the Borderlands universe, and only 6 are available to use total. So here's what I was thinking. Maybe she worked for Hyperion during the reign of Handsome Jack, and after his death and the Vault Hunters hurt Hyperion, chaos takes over among the employees stationed on Pandora or Elpis. She's tired of being taken advantage of, and then she uses some untested Hyperion tech, which can make any person start to take in Iridium and be almost a man-made siren. She uses the substance and starts to gather a following on Pandora as a god because of this. She is constantly then using the Iridium to keep her power strong. The Vault Hunters hear rumors about this, then they go to check it out and find out who she is and if there is another siren on Pandora. Once they're there, they figure out she's just a human with no special powers, but she also hates Hyperion. The Vault Hunters obviously would have to fight her, and she loses to the power of a real siren because obviously they're on 2 different scales when it comes to power. We learn about her backstory in echologs found throughout the area when we fight her, and then she eventually agrees to help the Vault Hunters bring down the other major weapon corporations. But I digress. Once again, this was created by Helen Odell. Please go thank her for her amazing work and for being an amazing artist. Thanks again for letting me use this art. Follow her on Twitter, Instagram, ArtStation, Facebook, wherever else. And Gearbox, if you're watching, hire this girl. She's amazing and has it all. So, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you guys in the next one.